The energy needs for today's society are getting larger and larger. This video hopes to address common misconceptions and possible solutions in using solar-generated electricity. Will the Living Sky Province also be known as the Sun Energy Province?
But what is the benefit of solar panels? I understand that you're getting free sunlight which powers your house, but how much does it cost? There's not very much info out there of how much it costs to get solar panels, and how long does it last? And if you use less than you produce, what do you get back from SaskPower? And those types of things. How many batteries do you need? Do you have to reconfigure your laundry room or mechanical room downstairs? How many solar panels do you need? Do I have to do the whole side of my house? Can I make money off it by selling all my extra energy that I don't use?
Well, I guess I'd first want to know that it was in some way cost effective. And secondly, I'm interested in becoming less reliant on non-renewable resources, such as coal and natural gas.
A common theme emerged when we talked to people about solar energy, and a lot of people asked about the cost of solar energy, and also people wondered whether it would work or not. So we wanted to look at these two factors in seeing if people would actually make the switch to solar energy. Right now, electricity in Saskatchewan comes from a variety of sources. The most predominant is coal, which is about 40% of electricity production in Saskatchewan. Behind that is 35% gas, 60% hydroelectric, 3% coal with carbon capture, 3% wind, 2% imports, and 1% other, which we thought, where does solar fit into this? This is based on 2017 SaskPower statistics.
First of all, it's a renewable source. You will never run out of it unless you have sun on the sky. You can still produce power plus clean energy. And whatever, you can always offset your bills. That way you don't have to rely on the grid all the time. You can also, like what you say, you can play your role in going green and playing part of environment as well. And like currently in Saskatchewan, you burn coal and all those types of sources to produce power.
Yeah, I'd want to know that there's a long-term guarantee on the solar panels. I'd want to know that they work in the winter, they work in the summer. I'd want to know that it's not causing damage to my house. I'd want to know that there are no negative possible health effects that have been studied. And that there is zero maintenance.
The basic idea of a solar electricity system consists of installing photovoltaic panels either in a roof or ground array for a typical home of around 7 kilowatts of electricity generated from sunlight. The electricity is in a direct current or DC form, so an inverter changes the current from DC to alternating current or AC, which is the type of current used in the home. This is then wired into a home's power panel. There's also a device connected to the panel that transfers excess electricity back into the grid during peak operating times and used by SaskPower. The house is still connected to the grid, so there should never be an interruption in power available.
Well, actually been thinking about it. We have a cottage out at Echo Lake, and I'd like to get off the grid. That we only use it seasonally during the summertime when we have an abundance of sunshine, so it would be perfect for us.
Not every situation will work for solar energy. The people who install these said you need the right kind of roof, likely south and or west facing, or a large open area such as a farm or field for a ground array. Your home's fuse panel should be 200 amp and have open spaces available for the inverter and other devices. The most important thing needed is money.
Yeah, so really what we need in order to kind of evaluate someone's house is say we need your address, and we can use our software to look up the house and do a 3D model online. Then we need your power bills, so say an average out of the year of how much power you use, and then we can size the system specifically to that house, and then we can get a little more detail with the payback, the cost of the system, and all that information.
The people selling solar panel systems do not want to talk about the risks. Because we're dealing with other ways of configuring an electrical system in a house, there is a very small chance that wiring or equipment failure could happen, but this risk is comparable to the conventional building risks. Poor installation techniques could also create roof problems. There are also risks from theft, hail, or wind. If a neighbor has a tree that gets too large, it could also block your panels. And lastly, SaskPower may change their policy on buying any excess electricity.
Show you. See you later. We get frame actually. See Saskatchewan? This shows the kilowatt hours per kilowatt, and this is a really ideal case for Saskatchewan. So we have plenty of sun in here, and it's a good place to put in solar. Plus, these guys you put in once, they have almost like zero maintenance.
We're doing
So you just put them and they practically plug and play, and they'll just run for 25 years or even more than that. Like these are warranted for 25 years, but they still run more than that. They have a pretty good, decent payback around like 8 to 10 years.
The benefits are substantial for a solar panel system. SaskPower is offering a one-time rebate of 20% towards the purchase of a system. They also provide a net metering program, which credits your excess power at the same rate you purchase power. You can bank these power credits for up to 1 year. What this means is a huge reduction in power bills. More about that later. As mentioned, using solar energy moves the energy production model from less coal to more renewable, and that's easier on the environment. The panels themselves have come to be seen as stylish and modern, and the right use of current technology. They also add value to a home, much like a newer deck, basement, or hot tub, and some people find value in purchasing a home with these items.
If by chance the federal government was to give you a grant of some sort to help ease the financial burden that it would cost to install it and or purchase it, I would consider something like that.
A lot of people were asking about whether this kind of system would work or not. So we wanted to look into the sunshine in Saskatchewan. We know that in a calendar year from January to December, the amount of sunlight changes. In January, the sun is low in the sky and there's not a lot of solar energy created. In June and July, the sun is high and there's lots of solar energy. In a typical house though, there's energy needs that are basically the same all year long. In the winter, we run heaters. In the summer, we run air conditioners. But generally, a line is required that has a certain amount of energy needs. For us, blue means that we are not creating enough energy. Red means the solar panels are creating enough. The question is the red area bigger than the blue area? We think it is.
So, I mean, Saskatchewan has the most sunlight hours out of any province in Canada. And I think if you look at our sunlight hours compared to somewhere like Germany, who has a way more mature solar market than Saskatchewan, we have roughly 3 times the amount of sun. The winter really isn't a big issue. We still get lots of sun. The panels actually are more efficient in the cold, less sunlight hours. But year round, we get way more sunlight hours than almost anywhere in the world. So solar makes a ton of sense here in Saskatchewan.
So now we just need to look at the costs. And this is based on an actual quote by one of the suppliers that we talked to. The cost of the panels, which was a 21 panel array, which gave us 6.2 kilowatts of electricity that we could generate, was $21,528. The GST and PST on top of that was $2,368. The 20% SaskPower was providing as a one-time rebate reduced that by $4,305. So that total came to $19,591. This is where things started to make sense for us. We started to look at the costs of borrowing $20,000 at 3.45% annual interest. Actually, that's for 18 years. So it was determined that it was $124 a month, which is the same thing as a power bill. It is often said that the best investment is an early investment, and this economic principle could also be applied to our solar energy system. 20 years from the point of installation is the ideal time to own such a system, after all the costs have been paid down. If we truly use nature as a source of ethics, then we should be taking steps now so that others can enjoy the future. The future is never ours, but the actions we take today can provide the structure, function, and aesthetic of our energy needs for future generations.